Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a review of a horror film from Spain. This is in the English language, released in the year 2015, directed by Miguel Angel Vivas, and this film is called Extinction. So Extinction takes place in the future. The whole world has been wiped out by a zombie/infected virus, and there's only a handful of survivors left. So a few months after this outbreak, the world has been consumed by an Arctic blast. And so everything is really cold, there's snow everywhere and there is no life, and it's in fact wiped out these zombies. So now there is a handful of survivors. You've got a guy, his daughter, and then you've got another guy who lives next door that there's a lot of animosity between the two of them because of something that's happened in the past. So they don't really get along, but they have to try and just cope with what's happened, and hopefully someone out there is still, alive, so that they can have just a little bit of hope. So they seem to be waiting for nothing. But then one day there is an event that takes place that suggests that maybe the threat of this zombie virus is not over, because in fact now there is a mutation that these creatures have now adapted to their surroundings, and it's made them stronger. So it's a new threat that is going to be imposed upon these survivors, and maybe they're going to have to try and survive another onslaught of these vicious creatures. And whether or not they can do that, survive this, is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Extinction. It wasn't only until I was about to see this film that I realised that Miguel Angel Vivas was responsible for a Spanish home invasion classic called Kidnapped. Now that was one of the most downbeat, depressing and cruel films I've ever seen. So for that reason, all of a sudden I was really psyched. I actually thought this was an American film, and I thought it would be a typical sort of zombie-infected American film, but then I saw it was a Spanish production. So that also got me excited for the movie. So this was a newfound expectation coming into the movie, and I thought it was going to be something a lot deeper than just a usual zombie virus film, and that's exactly what I got. I actually really enjoyed this film a lot more than I was anticipating, because of how good the characters in this film are. Matthew Fox from Lost, I think he was in Party of Five as well. I'm not terribly familiar with this guy, but he plays a really good role. This guy is very likeable. He had a lot of tragedy in his past. He loves his dog, and you get a real connection with him. So when the bad things are happening, you really root for this guy. So that is always something that makes films a lot scarier, is that if you really like a character and you want this character to survive, you don't want to see him get hurt, when the impending threat comes upon, you feel scared for him. So it gives you that little bit more intensity to the film, and I thought that's the intensity that the movie really needed. And you feel that when scary things aren't happening in the movie and there's character development, you think that it's worth it, because it's giving you a deeper insight into the dilemma that these people are facing. So it's very beautifully shot. It's a very snowy atmosphere. As I said, Matthew Fox plays a great role. There's another guy who plays the father, who is from Burn Notice. I can't remember his name. I wasn't a fan of that guy, but after seeing him in this film, I thought, he is definitely a decent actor. I thought Matthew Fox was better, but he was, once again, a very likeable character as well. And you've got the daughter, who was a very innocent person, and this guy would do anything for his daughter. And then you've got the tension between the father and Matthew Fox's character that has something to do with the past, and that's kind of like a side story. And that's what brings a little bit more depth into the film, is that it's a movie about trust. It's a movie about forgiveness. Can you be forgiven for something so horrible that's happened in the past? And not only are they fighting a zombie apocalypse, they're fighting each other, and you sense that this is a tragedy, because they should be banding together against a much bigger threat. But it shows you that some things in the past can't just be left in the past. And I thought that was by far the most interesting aspect of the film, is because this, although it's a zombie/infected film, there isn't a lot of action in it. And for this movie to work, it really needed those good characters to keep you interested in the talking parts, in the character development parts. If these characters were non-existent and they were just cardboard cutouts, you wouldn't care, and it would become very boring. You'd become impatient for the next horror set piece. But the movie does capture you in the characters. The script is good, and I just like the way it unfolded. It is a generic kind of film. It's nothing that you haven't seen before. But I just thought the characters were so well developed that I was interested in the subplot as well as the actual plot of the zombie/infected. Towards the end of the film, it really does kick into the horror aspect, which is something I really liked. I thought Miguel Angel Vivas, he demonstrated great camera angles in Kidnapped, almost like experimental angles, and then he has great camera angles in this film. The way he shot some of the set pieces was really well done and very, very creepy as well. My only problems with the film is that I thought the creatures looked really bad. I sort of CGI'd, and I didn't like that. I thought at the start of the film, when they're more like a zombie, they looked really good, but when they go into the creature part of the film, I thought the creatures could have been done a lot better. When you see them close up, they look really good, but in the distance you can see that they're CGI'd, and it just looks a little bit cheap, and it just takes you out of the film just a little bit. But I thought the ending was great. This does have a very downbeat, depressing feel to it, so it's not, as a movie that's not going to guarantee a fairy tale ending, as is the case with a lot of European films. And so yeah, Extinction is definitely a movie that I wasn't expecting much, but I got a lot out of it, and I actually thought this is a very good film, and everyone out there should go and see it if you are a fan of this subgenre and you want something just a little bit different that focuses on the human aspect as opposed to the creature aspect. So overall, for Extinction, going to give it 3.5 stars. Go out there and see it. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.